You've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, a story of excess, greed, and financial crime. But here is the ultimate irony. The movie about the world's biggest financial scam was actually financed by an even bigger scam. This isn't Hollywood fiction. This is the story of Jho Low, the shadowy figure who siphoned $4.5 billion from an entire nation. He bought Picasso paintings, dated supermodels, and gambled millions in a single night. He was the Asian Great Gatsby, until it all came crashing down. Welcome to the biggest heist in financial history. Before the yachts and the models, Jho Low was nobody. Just a student at Wharton with a desperate need for approval. He realized early on that in the world of the ultra-rich, perception is reality. He threw parties he couldn't afford and rented limousines he didn't own. He created a mirage of infinite wealth. And the most dangerous part? People believed him. He wasn't a businessman. He was a master illusionist. And he was about to perform his greatest trick on an entire country. To pull off a scam of this magnitude, Jho Low needed more than just charm. He needed ultimate power. He forged a symbiotic alliance with Najib Razak, the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Together, they established 1MDB, a sovereign wealth fund promising to turn Kuala Lumpur into a global financial hub. But it was all a glittering facade. The reality was a masterclass in financial deception. Jho Low set up shell companies with names that sounded frighteningly legitimate. For example, he created a company called Good Star Limited in the Seychelles. It sounded like a boring investment firm, but it was just a bank account solely controlled by him. In a single transaction, $700 million meant for a joint venture with Saudi Arabia was diverted straight into Low's pocket. He didn't use a gun and a mask. He used complex wire transfers and a web of lies to make 11 zeros vanish in a thin air. What happens when a man with zero moral compass suddenly has access to infinite liquidity? Absolute madness. Jho Low didn't just spend money, he set it on fire. He became the undisputed king of the global party scene. He threw multi-million-dollar birthdays where Britney Spears jumped out of a cake. He gambled and lost. Unimaginable fortunes in Las Vegas casinos in a single night, just to feel a rush. He desperately wanted acceptance from the Hollywood elite, so he bought it. He gifted Leonardo DiCaprio a $3.2 million Picasso painting and financed The Wolf of Wall Street. He bought a $250 million super yacht, the Equanimity, bigger than most cruise ships. He was living a rock star fantasy, every single second funded by the stolen future of everyday Malaysians. It was the most expensive, grotesque party in history, and everyone wanted an invite. But the laws of physics apply even to billionaires. What goes up must come crashing down. The sheer scale of the spending attracted attention. Brave investigative journalists started connecting the dots, followed swiftly by the FBI. The U.S. Department of Justice called it kleptocracy at its worst. The house of cards began to collapse. The Fed seized everything they could find. The super yacht, the luxury penthouses in New York, the Monet paintings, even the rights to Hollywood movies. The party was officially over. But the host was nowhere to be found. Jho Low vanished just before the net closed tight. Today, he remains an international fugitive, a ghost rumored to be hiding in plain sight in China, protected by powerful friends. The money is gone, a nation is scarred, and the man who engineered the greatest heist of our time is still out there, watching. You cannot steal billions without help. Jho Low wasn't a financial genius. He was simply willing to pay the gatekeepers. This episode isn't about the party. It's about the hangover in the boardrooms of high finance. Prestigious global banks, most notably Goldman Sachs, facilitated the bond deals that raised the money for 1MDB. They saw the red flags, the inexplicable fees, the rushed timelines, the shadowing meetings. But the allure of massive commissions was too blinding. Bankers earned tens of millions in bonuses for deals that made no economic sense for Malaysia. Law firms drafted complex agreements to obfuscate the money trail. Auditors signed off on empty books. The entire global financial system acted not as a firewall against corruption, but as its highly paid concierge. They didn't pull the trigger, but they gladly sold Jho Low the bullets and looked the other way as he loaded the gun. When the music stopped, the glamour evaporated instantly, leaving behind a sticky residue of scandal. The Hollywood elite who had eagerly boarded Jho Low's yachts suddenly found themselves entangled in a DOJ investigation. It was a PR nightmare. The irony became suffocating. The stars of The Wolf of Wall Street had to sit down with federal agents and explain their relationship to a real-life financial predator. Supermodel Miranda Kerr had to hand over millions of dollars worth of diamonds gifted by Low to the authorities from a safe deposit box. Leonardo DiCaprio voluntarily returned the Picasso and Basquiat paintings that hung in his homes. The Oscars won by the film suddenly felt tainted. Hollywood loves a bad boy, provided he's fictional. When the reality of Jho Low's crimes hit the headlines, the industry treated him like a radioactive isotope, desperately trying to scrub away any evidence of their profitable friendship. So, where is the billion-dollar whale today? He's not hiding in a cave. Intelligence reports suggest he is alive and well, living luxuriously in mainland China or Macau, moving between safe houses under the protection of powerful entities. Jho Low has ceased to be just a fugitive. He has become a geopolitical pawn in a much larger game between superpowers. For years, negotiations for his extradition have stalled in a complex web of international diplomacy. Is he being held as leverage? Is he paying for his continued freedom with the remaining secrets he holds? The man who stole a nation's future is now a ghost in the machine of global politics. The money is spent, the yachts are auctioned off, but the mastermind remains untouchable, a living testament to the fact that if you steal enough money, you don't just buy things, you buy immunity. The story isn't over. It's just waiting for the next chapter.